Hello everyone, this is Ivan from CoinLive. Another day, another recap, and another bullish candle for Bitcoin. The total market cap continues to rise. We are nearing $500 billion. Now, before we proceed any further, let me just get out of the way, legal disclaimer. This is not financial advice. The information presented is only for us to provide some insights into the crypto space. That's it. Informational and entertainment purposes only, the content of this video. That being out of the way, let's begin. By checking the total market capitalization, we've seen that after a period of low volumes around the weekend and even before so after the US hearing, we have noticed that in the past few days the volume is starting to pick up. One can tell that by seeing the rise and the slopy upward formation here in volume. That communicates that there is renewed buy-side commitment in the market, and as we move towards the 500 billion, that's definitely going to be a psychological challenge that must be overcome for the market overall to gain further and further confidence. We can notice by checking the volumes by exchanges that Binance, Bitfinex, Huobi continue to rise. Bitham and GDAX as well as OKEX have seen a minor drop in volumes, but nothing major at this point. Now, looking at the Bitcoin chart, we have closed at the New York just above the 10,000 mark, and that's another positive development. Notice the candle, it is rising volume, and we are using Bitfinex as a proxy. It'll be almost identical in the rest of the exchanges, so bear that in mind. Now, Ethereum has been struggling to keep up with the gains that Bitcoin has printed as of late. Bitcoin has been the outperformer among the top cryptos. Bitcoin trading in South Korea has seen premiums once again to the tune of 700 to 800. You will notice Bitham, now Bitcoin trades at 10,874, and same occurs in Abit, 10,965. So what does this mean? Well, if you remember, after the Bitcoin peak around 20,000, we saw a 60% decline in the value of Bitcoin, and as that happened, these premiums were being eliminated as people wanted to cash out and liquidate positions. The fact that we are seeing this premium once again communicates that there are greater and greater confidence levels that Bitcoin is in demand, especially in these South Asian countries where it is much more difficult to get money in and out of the country. So that is something important, and it communicates good, or at least increasing good positive sentiment in the Bitcoin space, okay, which by the way complements quite nicely with the fact that the US tether against the US dollar continues anchored at 1, so there is in that front stability. That being said, we are not out of hot waters yet. Yes, there has been an increasing number of tentative signs that justify a more constructive environment. There's been an increase in trading volume, Bitcoin marginally cracking 10,000, the US tether is stable, anchored around the 1 peg, and so far there hasn't been any fundamental disruptors in the market. That being said, there is a huge market psychological level at 500 billion, and early in January that proved to be the case for over 3 different tests. We were trading above it, and as we were moving lower, you will notice that there were 1, 2, and even a third swing low that saw this market capitalization level being rejected. And now we are approaching again. So let's just notice what the volumes are doing. We've seen an increase in the number of transactions in the total number of exchanges out there. you will notice that here the slopey upward increasing volume that one can draw just visually, it communicates that there is a greater commitment on the buy side for prices to be pushed higher and accepting those higher levels. Now, in this second leg higher that has become now a successful rotation, in other words, we've made higher heights, the volume remains stable but not increasing. Okay, so that's something that needs to be bear in mind when analyzing the markets. And on top of that, be reminded that today starts the Chinese New Year, and that's likely to cause a potential reduction in trading volumes. And trust me, it is going to take huge number of transactions and volume to crack not just the 10,000 and find acceptance above in terms of Bitcoin, but also breaking through the 500 billion mark. So something to bear in mind. It's going to take buy-side commitment and a good campaign to find the acceptance above the aforementioned levels. Okay, rolling on. Let's look into the CoinLive news terminal. As a reminder, we've published the written version of the recap for February the 15th. We usually publish the written version first and then we upload the video so that we can actually reach out as many people as possible to put them into perspective where we stand in terms of market capitalization, volumes, latest news, etc. So let's dive into it. First of all, we want to point out that CoinCheck has allowed its customers once again to withdraw funds. Remember that they suffer one of the largest, if not the largest, hacking in history of cryptos. Unlike the GDAX back in 2013, now the market has obviously evolved into a much greater beast, so it didn't really affect the market conditions as much. We saw an immediate rebound, so it wasn't really a catalyst. But anyway, bottom line here is that the customers obviously took advantage of it and they've been withdrawing plenty of funds from the exchange. Also, it is worth noting that CoinCheck has submitted an improvement plan to the Japanese Financial Services Agency. So it's something to bear in mind. Remember that Japan is a very strongly regulated. They suffered back in 2013 the GDAX scandal, so they've been really ahead of the game when it comes to regulations and becoming a hub for cryptocurrencies. The next one, even though it happened on Wednesday, the CFTC will establish a crypto and distributed ledger committees. And this is important, even though in the very early stages regulations talk of it could cause panic and selling. In the medium to long run, I cannot emphasize enough how important it is, because this is going to allow institutional money to come into the industry. So that's important news. Again, another important news is that 7 major crypto firms have created a first self-regulating trading body. These include Coinbase, eToro, CryptoCompare, CEX.io, BlockX, CoinShares, and Commerce Block. So they have combined their forces and resources to create what they've called Crypto UK. And this is going to be an association that is going to be self-regulated within the UK trade industry. And again, the more news that you see in potential regulations, the more excited you should feel about the future of certain projects if you believe about the technology, the team behind, and the problem they're trying to solve. We need regulations, and hopefully this will be implemented gradually towards, a much broader extension of the market. The next piece of information we want to point out, this is more oriented towards the crypto assets and the fundamentals. We wanted to highlight the main drivers of Litecoin. We've noticed that Litecoin, by returning here to the coinmarketcap.com, you will notice that Litecoin has been experiencing volume versus market capital ratio continues to be above normal levels, 13% above normal levels. So in this piece of information, we wanted to point out what we believe are the main drivers. So the first one would be LitePay. It is officially launching on February the 26th, and this has obviously got traders, investors excited, because a lot of merchants are going to be able to use the application to conduct payments, and that is good news. Also, the upcoming fork, even though, and this is on the next piece of information, even though Charlie has issued a warning telling the people that Litecoin Cash is a scam, that they are trying to confuse people, and that it has no relationship whatsoever with Litecoin itself. People might want to hold Litecoin in expectations, in anticipation of holding a greater amount of holdings, and we've seen it in the past. Whenever there has been a fork of Bitcoin or any other crypto asset, we see excitement and people want to hold these assets, so be aware of it. Again, in this one, Charlie issues a warning about Litecoin Cash. And big news for Cardano and Sirin. They have announced a strategic partnership. So the news were announced yesterday, and this is going to allow the Fine cold storage wallet, and it's going to be supporting Cardano and the native Cardano tokens. And this wallet will also allow automatically exchange of Cardanos for SRN tokens. So good news all around. And last but not least, Binance CEO had an interview with CryptoLark, and he mentioned that the fact that Shem was suffered that hacking in Japan, and the exchange itself was the one to blame, and having the vulnerabilities, technical vulnerabilities, they are expecting Shem to be added as part of Binance. So the moment that happens, usually a spike occurs in the markets. So be aware of it. You can click at this video and find out about this interview. It's 38 minutes long, but we've pinpointed the time when
There's
he
more
touches
spot on Tether than anything
this topic.
There's definitely a lot of
Well, that is all for now, folks. I hope that you see value on these productions that we are making on YouTube. If you like this video, please smash the like button, share it around, and spread the word. We will be here tomorrow, the next week, next month, and many years to come. Thank you very much, and see you all tomorrow. Bye.